Introduction. Sometimes, help comes from the most unexpected place. This is the story of the stranger who changed my day, and maybe even my life. Story. It was a rainy afternoon, and I was walking home from school. The streets were wet and people hurried past me, holding umbrellas and wearing raincoats. I had forgotten my umbrella that day, and the rain soaked my clothes and hair. My shoes squished with every step, and I felt cold and tired. I lived a little far from school, and the walk always took about 20 minutes. But that day it felt much longer. I kept looking down at the wet pavement, avoiding puddles, but it was impossible. My backpack felt heavy on my shoulders, and my head ached from the cold rain. I thought about calling my mother to pick me up, but her car was at the mechanic and I didn't want to bother her. I was frustrated. I did not know how to make the walk any easier. Every step made me feel smaller, colder, and more alone. Then I slipped on a wet stone and almost fell. My backpack hit the ground and I sat there for a moment, feeling embarrassed and tired. I looked around hoping someone would see me, someone would help. But the street was almost empty, and everyone seemed busy with their own lives. Just as I was about to get up, a voice called out softly, "Are you okay?" I looked up and saw a man standing a few steps away. He wore a raincoat, and his umbrella was large enough for two people. "I can help you," he said kindly. I hesitated for a moment. I did not know this person. But his smile was warm and his voice was gentle. "I'm fine, thank you," I said, trying to sound brave. But my wet clothes and cold hands betrayed me. He stepped closer and said, "It's okay. Come under my umbrella. You don't have to walk in the rain alone." I felt a little nervous, but I nodded. I walked carefully under the large umbrella, and the rain no longer fell on me. The warmth of his kindness made me feel better instantly. We walked together silently at first. The sound of the rain hitting the umbrella was calming. My shoes squished in the puddles, but it did not feel as bad with him there. I noticed that he carried a small bag, and he looked friendly and gentle. After a few minutes he spoke. "Where are you going?" I hesitated, but I told him the truth. "I'm going home from school. It's a long walk and it's raining." He smiled. "I know a shortcut. It will be faster and safer." I felt relieved. We turned a few corners, and he guided me through small streets I had never noticed. I realized that without him, I would have been walking in the rain for much longer. I felt grateful. We started talking as we walked. He asked my name, my school, and what I liked to do. I told him about my studies, my hobbies, and my love for drawing. He listened carefully, asking questions and encouraging me. His kindness made me feel comfortable and safe. I wanted to ask him why he was helping me, a stranger. But his actions spoke louder than words. He did not expect anything in return. He simply wanted to help. His presence was calming and I felt less afraid, less alone, and more cared for than I had in a long time. When we reached the end of the shortcut, I saw my house in the distance. My heart felt warm. I wanted to thank him properly. "I thank you," I said softly. "You helped me a lot today. I don't know how to repay you." He smiled gently. "No need to repay me. Helping others is its own reward. Remember when you can help someone too. Small acts of kindness can change someone's day." I nodded, my heart full. I realized that he had taught me something important. Life can be hard, and we all face challenges, but even a small gesture of help or kindness can make a huge difference. He waved goodbye and walked away. I watched him disappear down the street, feeling grateful and thoughtful. The rain had stopped and the sky was clearing. Sunlight reflected on the wet streets, making them shine. I walked into my house and told my mother about the stranger. She smiled and said, "See? There are still good people in the world. Always remember this moment." I nodded, feeling inspired. That night, I thought about the stranger's words. I thought about how small acts of kindness can grow into bigger lessons. I realized that I wanted to be like him someday, to help, to care, and to make others feel safe and valued. The next days, I looked for opportunities to help others. I carried books for a classmate, shared my lunch with a friend, and helped a neighbor with groceries. Each act made me feel good inside, just like the stranger had made me feel that rainy afternoon. Even years later, I remember him. I do not know his name and I never saw him again. But the memory stayed with me. That rainy day taught me about kindness, generosity, and human connection. It reminded me that strangers can sometimes leave the biggest mark on our hearts. Life can be hard, and the world can feel cold, but small acts of help can bring warmth. That stranger reminded me that we are never truly alone, and that the kindness of one person can inspire many. Sometimes a stranger is the teacher we did not expect. Sometimes a stranger shows us the light we need. And sometimes a stranger reminds us that even small gestures can make life brighter. That day, I learned a lesson I will never forget. I learned that helping others is powerful, that kindness is contagious, and that even in the darkest, rainiest moments, there is hope.